Hey guys, Nate here from WASD20. This is going to be a pretty quick little kind of rambly vloggy video, just giving some thoughts on Sword Coast Legends, which I bought back in September and have since returned. So the big question is why? Why did I return it? Now before I get into that, I just want to say, big disclaimer here, take everything I'm saying with a big grain of salt, because I did not play the full retail release of the game. I played it back in September when it was in like early access or whatever, and I only played a couple hours. So they had some parts of the game that were available for play back then, and I played the dungeon crawl mode and I played the DM mode and kind of messed around with that and played with it a little bit. So after a couple hours I ended up returning the game because I just thought, oh, there's not enough I'm seeing here that's giving me the feeling that this is going to be a good game. First thing was the feel of the game. Just as soon as I got in, the controls just didn't feel right. It felt like something from years back. It felt out of date. It just didn't seem to play well to me. The whole game felt a little bit bare bones to me. Granted, it wasn't the full retail release. I didn't get to play the story mode, but still, it just felt like, yeah, it just felt like a low budget title. Granted, it is only $39.99, so that's $10 or $20 cheaper than most PC games here in the US. Still, it didn't feel like it was worth my $40. Yeah, just felt like a low budget title that, I don't know, I just expect more from a PC game these days. The look of the game was not that good. It didn't look that nice. It was not comparable to most modern PC games in terms of graphics. And while that's not a huge thing for me, if the gameplay is not delivering, then that's the main thing. One of the problems that I can see with the game is that it seems like it's trying to straddle the line between being tabletop Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop role-playing game, and a PC game. And I don't feel that it succeeds at either, and it gets kind of caught somewhere in between. And even for a game that's trying to be in between, I think it could be a lot better. Ultimately, for me, I'm looking for PC games that deliver as PC games and can stand alone. Like, this is just plain old a good PC game, not like, hey, this is pretty good for a game that's also doing some cool D&D things. The Dungeon Master mode, cool, good attempt, but I'm just not into it. I think that if I'm going to play tabletop D&D, if I want that experience, I will play true tabletop D&D. I'll go to the one-shot group and I'll run a one-shot, or I'll hook up with some friends and we'll play some actual tabletop Dungeons and Dragons. That's just me. I don't want to simulate that experience in the way that Sword Coast Legends does. I just don't have a desire for it. That's, I think, one of the problems the game runs into for sure. So when I returned it, I only played a couple hours and I kind of left it open like, okay, for right now I'm not willing to risk my $40 when there's a lot of things I want to buy and money's kind of tight. I would rather return it, and if I hear that it is actually a good game when it comes out at full retail, then maybe I'll repurchase it. But so far I haven't heard that. It came out last week and it's just, the reviews are not so good. So right now I'm feeling pretty good about my decision to return it. Now, I'm not saying that it is not something I'll ever play, because if I have some friends who are getting into it and really having a good time, I may repurchase it. That's the big factor in my enjoyment of a game, is do I have friends who are also playing it and enjoying it. So that could happen, and I could pick it up again at some point in the future, maybe when it's on sale or something like that, and have a good time with it. Or maybe, if it gets a little cheaper in the future, it'd be worth it just to buy to mess around with the Dungeon Master mode and design some modules and some adventures that other people can play and enjoy. That might be kind of fun. I could see how people could get into that. But for me, at this time, I just don't think the game's for me. There's some good games coming out soon. Star Wars Battlefront coming out in November. My Steam library is already full of games I want to play and just don't have the time to play. So Heroes of the Storm is something I'm still having a great time with. So yeah, just wasn't worth it for me right now, not worth my $40, and didn't want to risk it. But I'm interested to hear what others are thinking of the game. I've read a couple reviews, but yeah, I'd love to hear your impressions if you've played it, if you bought it, and if you're enjoying it. Let me know. I want to hear what you like about it or what you don't like about it. So anyway, Sword Coast Legends, what do you think? Let me know. Alright, that's it for this one, everybody. Take care, and you'll see me again soon, I'm sure.